Hey guys, we are live on the Russell Hant Show, and this is Spillin' the Reality with Trisha and Kylie. And I am one of the co-hosts, Kylie, and this is Trisha.
Hey
And
guys!
and we are here in our first live show to bring you some updates from the Big Brother live feeds.
Yeah, so we're looking forward to bringing you guys daily updates on everything going on in the Big Brother house. So if you're not having time to check those feeds and just want a quick update every day at lunch, that's what we're here for.
And before we go any further, we do need to make sure you understand these will contain spoilers. So if you are not interested in knowing the nominees and knowing the outcome of the Power of Veto competitions, then you need to log out now because we will have spoilers every single day.
Just go ahead and hit the back door now.
All right, so I think we're going to bring y'all the top 5 things that you need to know every day. Trisha.
Real quick though, do we want to give a quick introduction of who we are and kind of like, what we do?
Sure, that sounds good. So, we are huge reality TV fans. We have been following Big Brother and Survivor and The Challenge for 10 plus years, and we are very excited to get the opportunity to do this update. We also run a huge fantasy draft. So, if you're interested in doing that for any of the shows that we've named, then make sure you check us out there.
Yeah, so me and Kylie really became friends through talking about Big Brother. None of our other friends are as big of reality TV nerds as we are. So we kind of bonded over talking about Big Brother things. So we're really excited about this to bring our conversations to the World Wide Web and to the Russell Hand Show. So we're super pumped about this opportunity. I'm really looking forward to sharing our thoughts with you guys. And there's also a comment section that you can interact with us throughout the show. So feel free to chat with us through the comments, give us your thoughts, and don't forget to subscribe to the Russell Hant Show and leave a review.
All right, so let's talk about our first topic today. Trisha, one of the big things that Julie talked about in the first live premiere was that there weren't going to be any showmances this season because most of the cast is older, so many people are married, but is that still true?
Mm. Well, do we have some tea on showmances? So, not any crazy hookups or anything like that. But there's definitely, I'm feeling some vibes from David and Davon.
Really? So is that a relationship we can stand?
I think we ship that relationship. I definitely think but what would their like celebrity name be? Like we have, Tyler and Angela with Tangela and Nicole and Victor. So what would we want to call what would we call Dave Vaughn and David? Like their names are
They've
so
already
similar
got the
already.
names going on, so they're gonna have to really work on a relationship name to make this a legit Big Brother showmance.
Dave Davoned.
They wanted.
It sounds like a flower, like a bonnet.
Yeah.
So I really
That's
stand this
good.
relationship. I look forward, like hopefully these two stick around because I'm interested. I want to see how this relationship goes. So if we can't get any other showmances out of this season, which I know is something we all look forward to, then let's give us this one, CBS. We're bored.
Yeah, I think this could be interesting at the bare minimum, even if they don't have a true showmance. Maybe this could be an alliance blooming. And I think it's interesting because David, we don't know what he's gonna do, right?
Yeah, he's definitely a wild card. And Davon's first season, she wasn't with us for very long either. And we've really gotten to know her since CBS has played some smart moves in bringing her back. And we've also seen her on the challenge. So, we know that she can be a polarizing character on this show, but she also is Queen Day, like gives the best confessionals and serves us entertainment on a silver platter. So I'm really just interested to see what dynamic she plays with David.
Yeah, I think it can be really interesting too. And I mean, just Davon's facial reactions are TV gold.
She
So
is a human
anytime,
GIF
yeah, anytime I can have more Davon on the screen, whether it's in the form of a showmance or an alliance, I'm here for it because I love Davon.
for sure. Queen Day. We stand Queen Day on this show. So welcome to the Queen Day Stan group.
For sure. So
so
what
what
else is
about
going on?
so what about in the house? There's, all right, so those of you, we have a few more listeners coming in. So this is all spoilers. If you're not here for the spoilers, um you may want to leave. But if you're here for the spoilers, we've got some things for you. So there's been a lot of talk in the house going on about these pregame alliances and these connections that were already built prior to the house guests moving in. What do you know about that, Kylie?
Yeah, so everyone knows the rumors that have gone around about the pregame alliance with Dan and Derek and Nicole Franzel. And we've been seeing that play out on the live feeds. And Nicole seems to have a built-in relationship with the HOH Cody. And so we're going to get to the nominations in a little while, but you can see it in all of their interactions, the ones that were pre-gaming and the ones that actually stuck to their agreement with CBS that they wouldn't spoil that they're going to be on the season. And I think these pre-game alliances, and so many of them built by Dan and Derek who aren't in the game, seem to be having a big impact.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. So I think we'll see as we get to talking about, how these nominations go, the shifts in the houses and the shift in the house and the power that at B, we'll definitely get to give more detail about, you know, what happened prior to the game coming on. But there's also a
Yeah.
lot of rumors about, Nicole having such a big hand in this season. And if you follow Andy on Twitter, then you know that he created a whole Twitter firestorm over which Nicole. Causing the earthquake in LA when they were sequestered, and all the power she played um, in what's going on in the house today. So super interested just to see how that plays out.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, I think that one of the biggest impacts that we're seeing in the pregame alliances is everyone expects these people that have played together, and almost everyone in the house has someone that they were on a previous season with. But so everyone is automatically thinking, okay, Janelle and Kaser, they're going to be together. And um, Nicole and Cody because they played on the season together. And where we're really seeing that is with Keesha in Memphis. Many people are lumping them together because they are old school players, but it definitely seems like because of the pre-gaming that Memphis is not on Team Keesha. What do you think about that, Trisha?
I mean, that's definitely hard to hear because if you watch Survivor, then you know that the new school players really you know, took out the old school players. Like, if we're just being completely honest, they
Yeah.
sent them to Exile Island so fast. So I don't want to see that happen here in Big Brother. I want to see these. I don't want to see the divide. I want to see them mingle. And if you're a true fan of this show, then you watch those old seasons, then you're really rooting for these old school players to come back and wreck shop because it's been, you know, 10 plus years since we've seen some of these players, and for them to come back and have another chance. I mean, we all want to see them do really great. So it is hard on me to see, Memphis not wanting to play with Keesha, because I just want to, get in my airplane that I own and fly a banner across the backyard and say, "What are you doing, Memphis? This is crazy."
Yeah, please be there for Keisha. We just really want to see these old school people stick around. I do not want to see all the old school people go out early, and that unfortunately seems what we may be headed towards. And I know that Tyler, he's a great player, and I mean, he's probably going to end up being one of the best players to ever play Big Brother, but we just saw him 2 years ago, and Keesha has this iconic meltdown on her birthday where she just completely explodes on Mr. Pectacular. And that's the kind of television that we haven't gotten to see in such a long time. And just for this icon to possibly, be isolated from a built in person that she can work with just is devastating.
It definitely is. And I mean, even though that same Keesha might not exist today because she's grown so much, it has been so long that she's played, we all know that she's still in there. Keesha,
Yeah,
we know that that girl is still in there, and we
we
know that
need
you
to
have
see
so much
her.
entertainment value. So, yeah, we don't want Keesha to go. But so that we can go into that brings us a good segue to who were the nomination talks originally? Was it Keesha? Like what was happening whenever the show cut, we moved into the feeds? Who were the original talks for going on the block?
Yeah, so I think originally Cody set his eyes on Kaser. He talked about it in his DR live with Julie that he was shocked to see Kaser there. And I think that's a little bit where he's talking about those pregame alliances and that there were some people that he expected to see that weren't there and some people that he didn't know were going to be there that took him off guard. And Kaser is such a huge name in Big Brother. And so I think he definitely set his eyes on that big target right off the bat, and it sounded like in his talks that he wanted to target Kaser from the get go.
Do you think that he wanted to target Kaser from the jump? First of all, Cody's a newer player. He's about my age. Kaser did play when I was very young. So, do we think that Cody actually saw Kaser's season and know who he is just because he's such a big fan? Or do we think that he targeted Kaser because of his intro package where Kaser has like done this promo for himself and his business of running the 2021 plan year. Do you think Cody is
Well,
just so worried about Kaser's CEO level of work?
I'm hoping that Cody didn't see that, but I'm going to say that the fact that he calls him Kesar in the DR, that he probably hasn't watched any of Kaser's seasons. I think he's intimidated by Kaser as a person and just doesn't have that bromance connection that he's looking for. And so I feel like that's why Kaser was such an early target.
That definitely
And
makes sense.
everyone everyone knows who Janelle is. So I think if you don't want to take that direct shot at Janelle, kind of like on Survivor Winners at War, when they kind of wanted to take out Boston Rob, but they were a little gun shy to go for that big target. So they decided to take out Ethan instead. I think it's kind of that same thing of, okay, well, I want to weaken Janelle, but I don't want to go directly for her. So I'm going to go for who I see she's close to.
Right. Instead of cutting the head off the snake, we're just going to go piece by piece.
Yeah, cut off a middle section.
So Janelle was another person's name that was being dropped by Cody as a nominee, right?
Yeah.
But
So, Julie dropped that there's going to be this safety suite competition, and we didn't get a lot of information about what it's going to be, but from the feeds, it definitely sounds like it's something that is going to last for several weeks, kind of like the power apps and things like that. And each player every week is going to have a choice whether they want to compete in the safety suite. And this is a competition that takes place before the nominees are made. So if they feel like they've been hearing their name drop and that they might be endangered, they can choose to play. But the catch is once you play, you can't play in it again. So, Trisha, how many people decided to play in this week's safety suite?
I think only two, right?
Right. So,
Yeah.
which two people decided to play?
So the two people that decided to play this week were Janelle and Kaser.
Yeah. So, sorry,
How
Cody,
perfect.
but we foiled your plan.
Thank goodness for Julie Bot coming in and giving us a twist that actually might play out the way we need it to.
Yes, the fans are
Cheers to
happy for
that.
one time for a twist to protect the people that we enjoy. So, with just two people playing in the safety competition, there was only one good outcome that could happen, and Kaser won safety. And with the power of the safety suite, he also gets to keep one other person safe. So, naturally, who did he keep safe with his safety suite power?
Queen Janelle!
Yes!
All hell Queen Janelle.
Yes. So, but as a slight twist, because Janelle did not win the safety competition, she got a punishment in the form of a costume. And CBS, they always like to embarrass these house guests, but Queen Janelle is bringing it, wearing her star costume, posted up with her high heels, looking like
Not just
a
any high
star.
heels, some
Some
Louis
Louis
Vuitton.
Vuitton. Yes.
This is an ad. She wants Louis Vuitton. She wants you to add her. She wants you to sponsor her. She is rocking these shoes.
And I don't know if everyone follows Kat from last season, but she was such a star on the show, and she is bringing it this season on Twitter with the funniest tweets. And she tweeted out this picture of Janelle posted up with her heels, and then this lovely picture of Kat. And I think this is just so funny.
Kat is such a diamond in the rough. I know we didn't get a lot out of her gameplay last season, but she's such a star, such a bright Big Brother person. So this tweet is just defining of her personality and
Yeah,
as
she's
beautiful.
such a character.
We all know Kat is so beautiful, but of course she posts the most unflattering picture that she has of herself in the Big Brother house next to Queen Janelle, and this is gold. So
So
tweet of the
iconic.
day, go tweet win of the day. We're crowning
To Cat
conspiring
Gun.
bitches. Cat done.
That's great. All right. So, with the safety competition out of the way and Janelle and Kaser off the table, who does Cody decide to set his sights on?
All right, so Cody, then he can't put up who he wants. He's like, oh, got to go back to the drawing board, getting a lot of blood on his hands because he's already said to his alliance, like, this is kind of who I'm aiming at. Well, that's out the window. What are we going to do next? He's got to put some nominees up. So
So,
who does
does
he
he
throw up?
try to go for a big target and somebody that we know can play this game on the next level, like a Tyler or Ian or someone that is a huge name?
Or someone that he's scared of, maybe like Davon that or Bailey. No, instead he goes for Keesha and Kevin, two old school players.
Yeah, so we come back from the nomination ceremony and we see Keisha and Kevin up. We had an idea that that's who he was going to go for. He did have a conversation with Kevin like 30 minutes before the nomination ceremony where, Kevin just told him that he doesn't feel comfortable with him and that he has a harder time connecting with someone that is very masculine like Cody is. And so it did seem to get to Cody, and that I thought maybe for a minute that we might see the shift in the nominations, but we come back once the feeds come back up, and Keisha and Kevin are on the block.
Which is just such a sad day because here we are. Here we are, guys, where we were with Survivor, where the old school players are being targeted right off the bat, and two of the old school players can save themselves, but Keisha and Kevin weren't able to dodge the bullet. And it seems that as of right now, which we're on Sunday, we're going to see an episode tonight, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later. But it seems right now that the target is Keisha.
Yeah, for sure. And when you nominate Keisha and Kevin, like these are two people that have such huge personalities. And the thought of losing either one of them in week week 1 is just awful. I'm not going to lie, personally speaking, I kind of wanted to see David get nominated and for them to take him out first, Francesca style, and so Big Brother could have their Francesca, but I don't think that David's name's really being dropped that much, so.
No, it's definitely not. Just based on kind of the connections of the alliances that Cody has and getting down to Davon having that connection with David. He's definitely not something I really don't think he's someone they're worried about because they
Yeah.
don't know. And he's really jiving with the group. So I
Yeah.
mean he's really broing it up and with the guys and he's really having those good conversations with the girls. So I mean,
Yeah,
kudos
I
to
think
him
I think David is a very smart player, and I think I would be almost more scared of him than anybody because they don't know what he's going to do.
for
So,
sure. And he has a lot of vengeance in him because he left. He didn't even get to this point of
right.
being nominated.
Milestones for David in the house. Day 2, check. Day 3, check. First nomination ceremony, check. First veto competition, check. None of this are things that he got to participate in his first season.
Oh, David. And yeah, so I mean, I'm really looking forward to what he can do, but I agree. The house, Cody sleeping on David might be his demise. It might end up being a mistake for him. So I'm interested to also see how that plays out in addition to the showmance with Davon.
Yeah, that will be interesting. So that brings us to the veto competition. And the 6 people that got picked for the veto are our
Cody.
HOH and 2 nominees.
So Cody, Keesha, and Kevin, you see them on the top row there. And then the players that were picked were Ian, Tyler, and Enzo.
So when these 6 people are going to compete for the veto, Trisha, who did you think had the best chance of winning?
Well, okay, so let's think about this. The competitions that Big Brother has really been hitting hard on the last few seasons are physical, right?
Right, for
So,
sure.
so physical or luck. Like, I mean, CBS has really been throwing those luck competitions, especially when there's
Yeah,
a lot of players.
yeah.
Um, okay, so if I'm going with that thought, like physical, I'm gonna think probably Cody or Tyler would be the 2 people I would think are gonna do the best at whatever comp it is.
Yeah,
What
those 2 for sure seem like they are going to have the best odds. I feel bad for Keesha there. She's the only girl playing amongst all of these men, and I don't, looking at these 6 people, I don't see anyone there that is going to pull down either nominee, really. I mean,
right. Yeah, that's tough. I don't know. I don't know that Enzo would pull down a Keesha or a Kevin. I mean, whoever it is, like, this is the first week. Do they really wanna, do that much the first
yeah,
week?
probably
And
not. Probably don't want to rock the boat the first week.
I like rock the vote. They don't
Rock
wanna
the
rock
boat.
the vote.
They're going to rock the boat.
So who ends up pull well, first of all, the feats come back after the veto comp and we find out who wins, but we also find out what kind of competition it was based on the conversations that are happening in the house.
Yeah, and so it sounds like it was one of the competitions where they have to stack things up to a certain level or a certain number of things, in the
Right.
odd shapes. Not exactly sure what it is. We'll be seeing that on the show in a couple days, but it sounds like maybe Keesha was doing really well and might have been able to pull it out. But did she win the veto, Trisha?
She did not win the veto as we find out when the feeds come back. All because of what was apparently a a little bit of a rocking the boat, um, where another player's items knocked over her tower.
So apparently Enzo's stack knocked over Keisha's stack, and she must have been getting close to winning or was pretty far ahead of everybody, and Enzo Stack knocks hers over, and womp womp womp, Keesha does not win. Our veto winner is, in fact, Enzo.
So that leads us to some controversy. There's some controversy out there in the Twitterverse and the Reddit world.
Yes, so there is a change.org petition going around, and people want vengeance for Keesha. They are upset that she did not do these pregame alliances. They are upset that Enzo Stack knocked hers over, and they are appealing to the CBS producers that they need to have some vengeance for Keesha. So, do you think they're going to get anywhere with their petition?
I mean, I really like where their heart's at, and I appreciate this movement. I really do. Maybe one of my favorite movements so far of 2020 because it's just so sweet for Keesha. But
But
I don't know that CBS. What would they even do, Kylie? Like, what would they do? They
what are they
go
gonna
back,
do? And
replay
redo
it.
the competition? Are they gonna put Keisha's stack back up where she was at? And okay, starting over from this point.
Just just kidding. We're gonna take this back from you, Enzo. You don't actually win. Let's redo this. Would Keisha have won if your stack didn't knock her over? No, it'll just be one of those things that, we've had this happen before with other competitions where a hand has slipped or a foot has slipped, and it did really change the game. But this is week one, and it's just that's just I don't think it's gonna happen, but I really do
Yeah,
like
no.
where the Twitterverse is heads at, and Big Brother has really strong, passionate fans. So I just think I love it, but
Don't think
eh,
anything's gonna happen from this, but that's okay. It's
right.
a good effort.
I'm
So
really interested to see. I mean, I'm really interested to see the episode whenever it airs with this competition. I'd be interested. I'm interested to see what they
yeah,
can
I mean,
say.
I think unless like Enzo had taken one of the things and thrown it at Keisha's stack and knocked it over, that's just unfortunately part of the game. Things fall, people bump into each other, and that's just part of the game.
Yeah, and let me tell you, if it was that competition where they get soapy, I would be JC all over that thing, like everywhere. I have the grace of a giraffe, a baby giraffe,
A
and
newborn giraffe.
right, it wouldn't be good. So we'll see what the competition held and what CBS shows us of this Keisha Gate 2020. But yeah, interested to see what happens
So that
there.
brings us to Enzo after the veto competition. Do we think Enzo is going to use the veto? And if he is, what would the house like to see happen?
Well, first let's talk. Let's So Enzo wins a veto, and it's not even like a conversation really happening. Like it's pretty obvious that he's like, I'm not going to use this, right? We really don't think he's going to use it at this point. What he's most excited about out of this is going out in the backyard. So apparently the house guests have not been able to go outside yet, and he is just so excited. He was like, I'm gonna do everything. Like the first minute we're out there, I'm gonna play pool, I'm getting in the hot tub, like I can't wait to smoke a cigarette, like all these things that he doesn't even care that he won the veto. He's just excited that the veto comp is over and all that crap's out of the backyard.
Let us have the backyard. I think all of the house guests are looking forward to being able to space out and not be all cramped in the house together, but nobody is more excited about it than Enzo.
It literally doesn't care about his veto, just cares that the competition itself is over so he can go outside the next day. He said he's waking up super early this morning so that he can go outside immediately. So
That's
I'm
great.
excited. I'm excited. He had me pumped up. Yeah, Enzo, you go outside, play some pool.
You get that cigarette, meow meow.
Yeah. So I can't wait. I can't wait to see the feeds today when they're all outside having fun.
Yeah, and I
Um,
think I think this will be good because I think we're really going to get a lot more game talk because, you
they
are
get to
able to
space out.
you're able to keep eyes on everybody. You know that nobody is coming up the hallway behind you or going to open the door. So I think that hopefully things are going to kick it into another gear now that they've got the outside open.
Get to have those hammock conversations that the best alliances always start on the hammock.
For sure.
So, so no, I don't think that Enzo's going to use the power veto. I mean, just in my opinion, it wouldn't benefit him to use it at this point. I mean, he doesn't have a committed alliance with either player to where
Right.
he's like, and he doesn't, he, everyone's plan is at this point, Keisha's going home. So he's not going to try to save Keisha. He's not going to try to put that target on his back, which might be the smartest move, honestly.
Yeah, for sure. So he does have a conversation with Cody, and he initially says, oh, you probably don't want me to use the veto. But then he does throw out one interesting thing, and he says, maybe we can see who we could backdoor. And who does he decide to go with? He throws out Tyler's name. So, do we honestly think that week one, Cody is going to take that shot?
Absolutely not. I don't like, first of all, my opinion on Cody is that he does not have the kahunas to do this, okay? He doesn't. He didn't
Yeah,
even, he is the reason Derek won. He could have taken Derek out at final three. So maybe this is a hot take, but I don't think Cody has it in him to play that hard this early. He's not going to do
right.
that.
So instead of taking out a big player week one, taking out a Tyler, like I'm here for it, Enzo. I think it sounds like a great idea. Let's use the veto. Let's backdoor Tyler. But I don't think Cody is on board with that.
No, but yeah, I support it 100% because I think if Tyler gets anywhere near the end, he's going to be beasting out competitions. We all know that those are going to be physical comps towards the end. He's going to be beasting out. He has been preparing for this since he left that house. So, yeah, it would be I would I would
It
take
would be
everything back
epic.
I said about Cody. Okay, you have all the kahunas if you get rid of Tyler, but it's not going to happen. I think Keisha's going to go this week, sadly.
Yeah, for sure. But I'm just hoping for a Keisha moment before she leaves the house. I need to see the Keisha blow up where she just shows her personality. I don't want her to go out quiet, and I need the drama.
I do too. Yeah, Keisha, please, please, please throw a fit. To do all the things that
Do
Keisha would
something.
do.
If you know that you're going out, don't take it quietly. Do something. Doing nothing is not going to change anything. So,
For sure, for sure. So, what do we think that they'll so what are they going to show on tonight's episode? So normally on Sundays they will kind of catch up with the house guests and they'll show I don't think they'll show Veto tonight, right? Or it
no,
normally
yeah, it won't.
it'll end with noms.
Yeah, so we'll get to see them getting settled in the house, those early alliance talks, and it will end with the nomination ceremony. So,
I'm I'm really excited to see the DRs because I mean we don't get to see those on the feeds.
yeah, and that is where we can really find out how people are thinking, and that's those opportunities for people like Davon and Bailey that have those huge personalities that are so funny that they can come in and shine.
Yes. So I'm excited. I'm excited for the DRs. I'm excited for tonight's episode. We can't get enough Big Brother. I'm pumped for tonight's episode. I mean,
Yeah,
it's August and we've waited all summer for this season. So, I mean, give it to us, CBS. Give us all
let's
the
go.
episodes.
Yeah, I wish that it was on every night and we could get 5 or 6 episodes a week. They could take a day off, but let's go, editors. We need to have some more content coming.
Do y'all have anything else to do? I mean, gaw.
Nobody has anything going on, so can you please do this for us?
I'm gonna start a change.org petition for more episodes of Big Brother.
Same. I will co-sign that.
Send it. All right, so
All
that
right.
kind of brings us to the end of our episode, but do we have any questions or comments in the chat? Let's go to the
So,
chat.
someone brought up that one thing that has happened on the feeds is about Ian. So, Ian is such a fun character on the show. He's so intelligent. He's surprisingly good at these competitions. But one thing that Ian talked about is that he is actually autistic. And that's not something that he talked about on his first season. And he does bring it up and tells several of the house guests that he is on the autism spectrum. So, how does that change our opinion of him?
I mean, we have very close relationships with people that we know are on the spectrum, and I mean, I it doesn't change my perspective of him in the way of I look down on him or anything like that. If anything, this makes me look up to Ian so much more because this isn't an environment that even person that is not on the spectrum who doesn't deal with those social, you know,
Anxieties.
right. That this would be a difficult environment for, you and me. This wouldn't be an
Yeah,
easy place for us to be. So, I if anything for me and Ian talking about this, and I really do hope CBS shows this. If anything
for
for
sure.
me, this just makes me Ian stan even more. Like I love Ian. I've loved him since his season. And I really do look forward to him educating our the viewers on how autism works, and showing the world that just because you have autism, that doesn't hold you back.
Right.
Really,
You can
really,
do
it
anything.
make right, right.
And I
So
think just with the state of everything in the world right now, and there being such a spotlight on different issues and different things that impact people, I feel like it is a huge opportunity for CBS to educate people. And I agree. I just really hope that they take the opportunity to shine a positive light. And I think it's brave of Ian to tell people, and I am here for it. So I'm really proud of him.
yeah, I'm excited, and if anything, I think that this shows how strong of a player Ian is, how strong of a person Ian is. But really, I really do hope he sticks around for a while because this, you know, n- not because of his, being on the spectrum, but just because we all know he's brilliant, and
Yeah.
I do hope also that there are more mental games. I've really missed the puzzles, being in the Big Brother season. So I really do hope that CBS keeps those in line, and not just for Ian's sake, but for I don't want the big buff guys winning every single competition, you know?
Sure, sure, sure. So, someone asked, how do you guys think David will get on since he barely got to play his first time? You know, we've both talked about that David is the biggest wild card in the house. I mean, Tyler's on there and he's making all those final two deals with everybody. We expect him to win the competitions. Everybody so far kind of seems to be stepping into the role that they fulfilled on their previous seasons, and we don't know what that's going to be with David. And so I think he's very dangerous because of that.
Right. Yeah, I mean, we've kind of hit on this earlier, but he's a big wild card. But also, I mean, he might want this more than anybody there. He
Right,
might
he's got
want
the
this
most to
the
prove.
most. Yeah, he was a recent player. He was on the last season, so he's the most recent player,
Yeah,
and
him and Nicole.
he has had a year to think about this and to you know let it sink in that he was the first one out, didn't get to play in any competitions or anything,
Yeah,
really
he
went out
had
on
no
luck.
opportunity.
Yeah, went out on bad luck and bad choices, by in my
The
opinion, by
camp
Jackson.
director.
Right, the camp director. That was a twist. We don't stand CBS.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, so I'm really excited to see what David will do this season, and I think he's going to do great. We talked about our draft earlier, and I put David on my team because I didn't. I mean, it would have been smart to target him just because of him being such a wild card. But when I saw Cody got HOH, I was like, yeah, no, he's not going to
Yeah.
target David.
Cody
He's going to
definitely
go.
doesn't seem someone that's going to go after the guys right away. So,
No. He's trying Cody is going to try to make as many bonds as he possibly can, and he's going to burn those who he doesn't have connections with, which is fine, but from a strategy perspective, is it the best strategy? We'll see how that plays out.
yep, for sure. All right, so we will be coming live to y'all every day at 12 noon Central, and we will be updating you on the previous day's live feeds and what you've missed. And so if you don't have time to watch them for yourself, we're going to bring you everything that you need to know.
Yeah, so
And we're really looking forward to it.
you can watch with us live every day, or this will be posted on Facebook and YouTube. So you can, plug that into your car, or if you're driving to lunch, if you're, taking a break from work at lunch, to just listen to everything that's been, going on. We're not. Our goal, this one was kind of long because we had a lot of days to catch up on. We also wanted to give you guys introductions as to who we are and what we're here for. So this one is a little bit longer than what our other ones will be, especially since we're going to be giving daily updates. We may just have like a 30-minute little podcast. I mean, sorry, YouTube show for you guys to give you these updates. So just a quick way for you to find out, hey, what's going on in the house. So we look forward to doing that to you guys every day at 12 o'clock Central Standard Time, to give you guys a little Big Brother lunch break for the next few months. Also, we will, let me pop up our Twitter and Instagram handles. So we have this is a new show for us. So if you don't mind giving our Instagram and Twitter a follow, we'll be sharing updates on there as well. If you're subscribed to Russell Hant's YouTube channel, then you'll get updates when the live shows come up. So hit subscribe, follow our Instagram and Twitter for the latest updates on RealiTEA, and just you don't want to miss anything. So check us out at our Twitter. Our Twitter and Instagram handles are the same. So reality_TRHS. So
And
check us.
Russell's going to be bringing shows after each episode, and he's going to be having on past house guests. And so make sure you're tuning in for those as well. And I think that's going to do it for our first show, guys. We
Thank you
had a
guys so much
blast.
for joining. Yeah, this is fun. This is going to be a fun thing for us to do, and we're looking forward to interacting with you guys. So thanks everyone for the comments. Be sure to subscribe and check us out on Instagram and Twitter, and we will talk to you guys tomorrow.
Have fun watching.
Bye.
Bye.
Cheers. Bye, y'all.